It is 4 o'clock. We will begin this special meeting of Lake County Board of County Commissioners. One item on the agenda today is the discussion and consideration of a bid award for Lake County Sustainability Contractor. This will be led by Candace Bryans, County Manager. I will make one point of clarification. This is a special meeting. The public is always welcome to attend and observe, but we will not be taking public comment at this meeting.
Why not? You're just choosing to not do public comment?
Yeah, it's,
I mean, I advised Andy on this also because
Oh.
it's an RFP process and
Yeah.
the RFP is closed.
Oh, okay, got it.
So it really allows, if you're allowing people to comment after the RFP is closed, it's not really fair to people who are here.
Yeah, just wondering, cause we have public comment at the beginning of other special meetings, so I was just curious. Do you mind letting the people in who are in the waiting room?
Yes.
please? Thank you.
So I was trying to pull the thing up on my end. Okay.
everyone's in? Okay, and for anyone who's just joining us, this is a special meeting due to the nature of RFP proposals. The board has been advised by our staff that we will not be taking public comment at this special meeting, due to the nature of RFP proposals and in the interest of fairness there. Okay, so back to the first and only agenda item, discussion and consideration of a bid award for Lake County Sustainability Contractor. Go ahead, Candace.
So Lake County, we were awarded, and this is just off of the memo to give people context for Robert here. $240,000 in August 2024 via the Colorado Energy Office's Energy Sufficiency and Conservation Block Grant, EECBG, so I'll use that from here on out. To support the staff capacity funding for a county sustainability manager. In March, we were unsure if that grant for the sustainability manager would continue to be a viable option. And so we opted to put an RFP out to find someone to be that person, just in case the funding went away. We wouldn't have brought on a staff member who we may or may not be able to retain,
Mhm.
and that is quite a lot of funding to lose towards the position. So we put out an RFQ for professional services, and we received 7 responses. We went through an evaluation process of the proposals using the outlined methods in our financial policies and procedures. Each member of the internal evaluation team assembled to evaluate the solicitation individually and independently of one another. In addition, this included a review by the county leadership's evaluation committee. So all of our executive leadership kind of goes back and says, hey, do we really have the money for this contract before we award it? Does this make sense? Have we followed the process? Ask some in-depth questions about, once we move forward, who's gonna be managing it? Do we have a plan for it? And that's a relatively new process for us to make sure we really have a plan for dollars before we take them, and that even if the person who's managing the contract left, someone would be in the know to step up and take that over. So the internal evaluation committee unanimously selected to recommend the award to ICF Incorporated LLC, as they felt this was the vendor with the most responsible, responsive, reasonable proposal, deemed the best value, best fit, and most advantageous to Lake County. LCF Incorporated LLC is a multidisciplinary consulting firm with an office in Golden, Colorado. So what we are asking for is for a decision from you guys. That's the staff recommendation. Some of our applicants are local vendors, and they were given extra points for being local, but also want to make sure that we do diligence and get the opportunity to have a discussion about this before you guys make a decision.
Thank you, Candace.
Yes.
Can you let people into the waiting room?
Yes.
So I read through the ICF, oh my gosh, proposal. It was 62 pages long. It was a lot. And they're clearly very experienced. I absolutely understand why you all chose this firm to do this work. And I still, while I wasn't part of all of it, I do think that C4 has been a major part of actually getting us the money. And $250,000 is a lot of money to have received and then not invest in our local economy and workforce and partners. So I would have reservations against hiring this firm that is technically in Virginia, even though they have a firm headquarters in Golden, and 9 of their many people would be Colorado-based at all. I also think that C4 has had an amazing track record of providing actual context for our community. They're good at reaching people in this community. ICF said that they were good at that too, but they have no track record in our community of actually doing that. And I think that means a lot to me for actually getting this done.
So even with a weighted score, they got a 71, and the folks that use your preferred, not your staff preferred company got an 82, so they were at the low end of all the scores. If not tied for last place, so I wonder why that is, and I wonder if can we overcome that score, or?
Keep going, people.
Yes, sorry,
It's okay.
trying to.
I think that, sorry, staff can answer that.
Duncan, do you mind if I let you talk about your review of it? I know other people reviewed, this is not all on Duncan, he's just the only one here with me right now.
Totally.
So, you know, we reviewed it against the criteria based on what was submitted. And I guess I can speak for everybody else, that we felt that ICF's proposal was stronger in a number of areas based on what was actually submitted. So, yeah.
Do you mind muting Susan? Sorry. Yeah, totally, it's a strong proposal. And it's incredibly professional and they have a huge amount of experience. That's why I say I think it makes sense as to why you all would choose them based on the criteria. And I'm saying for me, it's more than just the criteria, it's also about keeping $250,000 in this community. And I am trying to state my cause, not only because of the economic driver that $250,000 is, but also because people can say that they have like equity-based practices and that they can do this work in any part of the country. And I think that also we have a history in this community of large corporations coming into our community, creating plans, and then it's actually up to us to implement it. And I think that C4 actually implements things, cause they stay here, they know us, they are us. And that means I have some leeriness about large corporations. Firms, not corporations. I'm muting Mitch, sorry. Thank you. Andy, what do you think?
So Elsa, just to be clear, you're suggesting that we disregard staff's recommendation and give it to, and reevaluate and make a different decision?
Yeah. I'm proposing rewarding it to C4. I looked at both of their proposals, I'm not saying I looked at everyone's. And it's not a disregard for staff's recommendation, I think it's a strong recommendation. It makes perfect sense based on the criteria. And I think that the other criteria is the track record we have of creating ideas and plans from people who aren't part of the community, and then we can't implement it. And I would rather see a proven partner that we know can implement something be part of it. It was C4 who was part of us even getting this money and being in the conversations to even have a cap and a sustainability contractor. So I think that they've been here the whole time, and that means a lot to me. And I really think that the economic benefit is a huge contributing factor for me.
I'm seeing two sides to this. I agree with the economic driver aspect of what you were pointing out, Elsa, and as well as the who planted the seeds in the first place. I also have concerns due to historical patterns in Lake County of choosing things that are close to home because of the close-knitness of this community and the relationships we all have within the community, and how in the past that has not served the taxpayers optimally. So I'm torn on this. This is a very tricky, it's hard.
I think I hear that, and also though, C4 really was good at calling out the wins that they've had in their collaboration with Lake County and with the community. And I think that maybe there are other entities that don't have great track records, or yes, it's tricky to choose close to home versus more experienced, but it is the local experience, I think, that's really a strong component to this. And C4 is a professional organization that has proven itself. They were a major part of the housing needs assessment, the Lake County Energy Plan. They've done home energy audits since 2013. They created the Energy Assistance Fund. They have been a partner with us in recycling and waste management. I think that they've proven themselves really well. And I get that you're choosing local over experienced in this field, and I think that those are two 50-50 things. I don't think that you're losing something somewhere. We lose the local experience and the context if we go with ICF. And I think that that's a big consideration. What do you think, Matt?
I think a lot of things. First of all, I was the only one that voted against this, and the reason I did is because this is a federal pass-through grant. We have to spend the money. And so I've heard some things that some people's jobs are on the line, so I'm feeling like a lot of pressure here because some of these people are my friends. Not all of them, some of them. That's a joke.
Better delivery next time.
So to be put under pressure and told that people's jobs are on the line.
I didn't say
it
that.
also skews my decision making. But as the only one that voted against this, because of we have to pay for it and then we get reimbursed. And so my contention at the time, and still is the only reason it's still here is because they haven't found it yet. And I said that then, and I'll say it again. So to for us to say we're saving jobs or keeping jobs here, I don't want that to be a criteria. So I'm not gonna consider that. I'm gonna pretend like I didn't hear it.
You're welcome to do that, Matt. I just think.
But I do agree with you that the local knowledge, the scope of work is, it's something that they've done, and, I guess I'll let you answer. Those two concerns I have, feeling pressure in this room, having our friends be this, is it fair to our staff, is it fair to this company who had a much higher score for us to you know, to, I feel like we're undermining the staff a little bit, and I feel like we're choosing our friends over the taxpayers. Are the taxpayers gonna be the best served for this work? And I guess that's the bottom line. Are we gonna, for our 240,000, are we gonna get our money's worth? And it is tax money, even though
Yeah.
it's federal money, it's still, you know, tax money that's gonna be passed through here, so.
Well, I think it's valuable to consider your community when you're spending taxpayer dollars as to who you're impacting with where you spend your money. We do that every day. So I also think it's totally fair of the community to want to pressure us. That's absolutely their right. And the big consideration to me is between the two is you get this huge context of energy work and sustainability throughout the entire country that's being brought to your community, which is a huge benefit if you go with ICF, if we go with ICF. And what you don't get is the local context for what our needs are, how we talk to people, how we get in front of people, how people trust us to give us the information and engagement that they need. ICF doesn't have that and C4 does. So I really think it becomes a which one is more important as to how we use these tax dollars that have been awarded to us. Is it to bring the knowledge into our community, or is it to make sure that our community is getting access to this input? And to me, the community having access to the input of how we're gonna change is more important.
I mean, originally we were talking about hiring somebody that would have kept the money in the county.
Mhm.
I think we know that contract or hire, if the money goes away, I
It goes
believe
away.
it goes away.
Yeah.
You know, but it's really hard to have a human that works for you that you just cut off with no notice at the rate federal grants have been not awarded.
Totally.
So in the same token, and the Fed is what it's doing now, which is not a lot, we don't know what's gonna shake out, you know, on that front in terms when they're back in session to get their things figured out. You know, if it did get cut, it just would not, whoever that contractor is knows that the contract is gone because it's grant funded.
Yeah.
But I mean, whatever we've spent out the door, you know, we won't be able to reimburse, so we'll lose
Whatever that month
whatever
is.
that amount is and when that time frame is, if it's canceled, so. I mean, do know, like, we're not out $40,000 we didn't have.
Are the reimbursements yearly or quarterly or monthly?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Do you
it's
mind
not,
getting-
we're not
Yes.
sticking our neck out too far. The instability of the source funding itself was a big part of the initial conversation, and I think it does play into the decision making here still.
I guess-
Fortunately.
I guess for me, that's kind of done for me, like we made the decision for it to not be a county FTE.
Yeah,
And so if we're
I
moving-
wasn't bringing it up for discussion, I was just making the point that had we decided to hire someone, that money would have stayed in the community.
Yeah,
It would
totally.
have been done by likely someone in this room or someone with the knowledge that lived here, so.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I was saying to Andy, like,
Oh,
I'm not talking about whether we're hiring an FTE or it's a contract either, I'm talking about the weight, how much the localized aspect of this award has weight changes when you're like, this thing could dry up at any time. It could throw further instability into any local institution.
I see what you mean. So you're making the case that it would actually be better to give it to ICF because they could better absorb,
I'm not making any case yet,
Okay.
I am looking at, you know, there's no black and white in this one for me.
no, not at
It's
all.
more of,
Just to be clear, I think they would both be great choices, but for different reasons. And I am my own values and how I'm seeing our current context locally makes me wanna invest more locally in this situation.
I respect that.
Yeah.
A lot of time and effort went into this RFP, so I'm just looking at,
By everyone, and it's wild that we're like, okay, well, actually, we get to decide. I realize how uncomfortable that is.
It's okay, I
That's
mean,
pretty wild power we
we
have.
decide on a lot of them and move them forward to contract, but because this was something I knew people would feel passionately about, I thought it was worth the opportunity to
Yeah.
have the discussion.
I think, it's like 49:51 in my brain right now of, the amount of time and effort staff put into this decision, fairness to the process, the procedure, and my thinking a little bit about the history of, how this county's made decisions in the past that sort of pushed me a little bit more towards ICF is where my decision lands with this.
I think Elsie's made a good case. I think a lot of the work is not really my thing, seems kind of vague. The implementation is difficult, maybe some locals could help us with the implementation after the contract, after the 3 years is up. Maybe there's some work that can be done afterwards, cause it seems to me like developing a plan, another plan that never is just gonna sit in my office in the closet. Whereas maybe some locals could be like, hey, remember that plan that's sitting in your office in the closet? Could you pull that out, cause now we're going for this other grant, we wanna try and implement the trash or the recycling or something like that, so, I don't know. Elsa's changed my mind, as usual. So smart.
Oh my god, that's,
I would make a motion to award the contract to C4.
a second,
Do a vote?
aye?
Aye.
Can I wrap us up?
It is 4:24 PM. We will conclude this special meeting of Lake County Board of County Commissioners.